Hi everyone and welcome to another video. This is the Apostate Prophet. I woke up this morning, finished my notes and wanted to start to record this video, and then I suddenly noticed that David Wood released a video about the exact same topic. But I'm doing this video anyway and I will make a better video. Just kidding, there's no competition. I like his content and peace and love. Anyway, let's come to topic. When you grow up as a Muslim, you grow up with sexual deprivation. You learn to stay away from it, but your nature tells you otherwise all the time. That's why Muslims are such... never mind. I want to talk about Muhammad and his desire for women. In this case, a very special woman. Zainab, Muhammad's cousin and the wife of his adopted son, Zaid. The story, as far as we can acquire it from Islamic sources, is as follows. Zaid, who was enslaved at a young age, was sold into slavery in Mecca, where he was given to Muhammad's boss Khadija. When Muhammad and Khadija got married, Khadija gave the slave boy, Zaid, as a gift to Muhammad, who became very attached to him. When the family of Zaid came to buy him out of slavery, Zaid chose to stay with Muhammad, who then announced him his son. So he adopted him, basically. Much later, Muhammad suggested that Zaid should marry his cousin Zainab. She refused first due to her status and because Zaid was a former slave. But then Muhammad turned that suggestion into an order and released the Quran verse. It is not for a believing man or a believing woman, when Allah and His Messenger have decided a matter, that they should thereafter have any choice about their affair. And whoever disobeys Allah and His Messenger has certainly strayed into clear error. Chapter 33, verse 36. A Quran verse that basically tells Muslims to completely obey to the will of not only Allah, but also Muhammad himself. I like using this Quran verse. I do it very often when I discuss with Muslims. Now Zainab had to marry Zaid, but the marriage didn't last very long. The following story can be found in the scriptures of Ṭabarī, a very famous interpreter and historian of the early times of Islam. A year later, Muhammad visited the house of Zaid to talk to him, but Zaid was not at home, so that his wife Zainab opened the door scantily dressed, thinking that it is Zaid at the door. When Muhammad saw her that way, he was shocked and he was very impressed with what he saw. He left the house afterwards and Zainab told her husband Zaid about the story. Zaid, having problems with Zainab already, visited Muhammad and told him that he can have his wife, because the marriage isn't going very well anyway. But Muhammad told him to keep his wife and to fear God. What Zaid didn't know at this point was that Muhammad really wanted a piece of that Zainab. Not long after that, Zaid divorced Zainab. And guess what happened? Muhammad married her immediately and released the Quran verse. Let's see what the Quran verse says about Muhammad and his desire for Zainab. And remember, O Muhammad, when you say it to the one on whom Allah bestowed favor and you bestowed favor, keep your wife and fear Allah, while you concealed within yourself that which Allah is to disclose. And you feared the people, while Allah is more right that you fear Him. So when Zaid had no longer any need for her, we married her to you, in order that there not be upon the believers any discomfort concerning the wives of their adopted sons, when they no longer have need of them. And ever is the command of Allah accomplished. Chapter 33, verse 37. So what the Quran is saying here is that Muhammad indeed desired Zainab, whom he married to his adopted son, while she was still married to his adopted son. And that is no problem for Muslims. That is absolutely no problem. Muhammad sexually desires the wife of his adopted son while they are still married, and Muslims have no problem with that. There is no dispute about this. That's what the Quran verse says. We can look at it again. It says, while you concealed within yourself that which Allah is to disclose. Incredible, isn't it? The Arabs didn't really like this and they confronted Muhammad because in that time, marrying the wife or the former wife of your adopted son was considered incest and extremely immoral. What did Muhammad do? He solved the problem by declaring that it is Allah's will that Allah married him to her, not he himself. and also declared that adoptive sons are not really real sons, so it's not really incest, you know. Yes, he revealed the Quran first, again for his own needs, for his own desires, and solved the problem completely through his claim that Allah speaks to him and Allah marries him to Zainab. Afterwards, adoption was abolished. That's when Muhammad changed Zaid's name from Zaid, son of Muhammad, to his original name, Zaid, son of Haritha. That way there was no immorality, no incest, nothing wrong, and the whole problem was solved. Allah stepped in the right moment. Let's say it again, Muhammad was indeed at that time sexually attracted to the wife of his adopted son. That's what the Quran says, and Muslims have no problem with that whatsoever. While Muhammad was sexually uncontrollable. In a hadith, again related to Zainab, it even says that once he was outside and he saw a woman walking outside, and he was suddenly so aroused by the sight of another woman that he ran home and had sex with Zainab immediately while she was doing work. I'm not making this up. The hadith says, Jabir reported that Allah's messenger, peace be upon him, saw a woman, and so he came to his wife Zainab as she was tanning a leather and had sexual intercourse with her. He then went to his companions and told them, the woman advances and retires in the shape of a devil, so when one of you sees a woman, he should come to his wife, for that will repel what he feels in his heart. The most ridiculous thing about this is that Muslims say, just as the Quran first says, that Muhammad did this only to set an example for Muslims, to show them that there is no problem with marrying the former wife of your adoptive son. So according to Muslims, Muhammad really had to show an example here. He really had to make the example to tell Muslims that it is wrong. But he didn't have to demonstrate an example when he married more than 11 wives, even though only 4 wives are allowed in Islam. And he didn't have to demonstrate an example when he treated his wives unequally, even though the Quran says that you should treat your wives equally. There are countless revolutionary things in the Quran, in Islam, that Muhammad didn't demonstrate an example for, and people just followed it because it was the word of God or the word of his holy prophet. But here in this specific case, he really had to demonstrate it himself. Seriously? No, Muhammad simply married her because he couldn't control his uncontrollable sexual desire. And if you believe he really did this only to demonstrate an example because he really had to, then be honest to yourself. You don't really believe that. Thank you for watching. If you like my content, you can share my videos, like them, subscribe to my channel, and you can follow me on social media for updates. I'm very active on Instagram and on Twitter. I'm also on Gallery Report. I just released a new article there. If you want to support me on Patreon, you can do so. The link is below in the description. That's it for now. I'll be back with another video on Friday. Thank you again, and stay away from Islam.